The music I'm playing right now is utilizing an interesting type of cyclical chord progression known as Coltrane changes, in which it constantly modulates through 3 keys spaced a major third apart. This type of progression was popularized by the American saxophonist and jazz legend John Coltrane, most notably in the infamous Giant Steps. Although Coltrane's music is the most famous example of this progression, the first usage of it that I know of was in Maurice Ravel's Ondine from Gaspard de la Nuit. As you can see, we start in B minor, modulate to G minor, modulate to E flat minor, and then finally back to B minor. If we wanted to, we could keep looping through these chords and make a whole song out of it, which is exactly what John Coltrane did. So this is very interesting and sounds great, but how does it work? Let's take a 2-5-1 progression, which is very common in jazz and in most other genres. If we make the 5 chord resolve to a minor chord, we can use that as the new 2 chord, which will then lead up to another 5 chord, which resolves to a new 1 chord, which we will use as another 2 chord and continue this pattern. Now what we've created is a descending 5th sequence, with the root notes going up a 4th, down a 5th, up another 4th, and down another 5th. Since 4ths are the inversion of 5ths, this amounts to the same thing as just going down by 5ths. Coltrane changes work in a similar way, but instead of the root going up by a 4th and resolving down a 5th, it goes up a 3rd and then down a 5th. If we repeat this enough times, we modulate until we get back to the starting key. In that example I used a minor 3rd, but we can also use a major 3rd. It's not only thirds that we can use for these types of progressions though. I'm not sure if it counts as Coltrane changes if we use intervals other than thirds, but here's an example anyway. For fun, let's start in the key of F sharp minor. I'll start by moving the root up a semitone and then down a 5th. I only modulated to one other key, C minor, before arriving back in F sharp minor because of the root motion. Here's what happens when I move the root up a whole tone and then down a 5th. That took a lot longer to get back to the starting key. Now here's what happens when I move the root up by a minor 3rd, which is the original Coltrane changes progression. Now here's a major 3rd. A perfect 4th, we already know, would turn into a descending 5th sequence, and moving the root up and down a perfect 5th would just be repeating the same 2 chords over and over. So let's move up to a tritone, which you would think would sound bad because of its harmonic distance from the home key. Surprisingly, it sounds totally fine. That one takes a while to get back to the home key, but I think it sounds really cool. It's possible to do this with 6th and 7th as well, but I've demonstrated enough, I think. It also gets really weird when you realize you don't even have to resolve down to 5th at any point, and that you can create cyclical chord progressions using root movements of only 3rds, 6th, or whatever other interval you want. If you find this idea interesting, you can experiment with it in your own improvising or music writing. I hope this video has been informative. I'm probably not the first person to expand on Coltrane's ideas and figure out that it's possible to create these progressions, but I thought it was something really cool that I should share.